Hey guys, Dan Gogler here with my assignment 4, reflection on assignment 2. I was actually in category 5, which was mobile learning, and I focused on essentially the use of smartphones in the classroom. I think the one biggest thing I took away from this was the fact that, I knew there were a lot of pros and cons uh, to, the whole smartphone process. Um, but obviously, it was kind of neat to see all the statistics and data of of how bad the extended screen time could be, um, and how impactful that smartphones can be if used in a positive light, but also how they can be how negative they can be if you don't utilize them correctly. I think that's my biggest takeaway that we can use smartphones. I think it's actually important. A lot of the research I saw showed that we have them all the time, so we need to be using these. We need to be teaching students how to use them properly, um, but we also need to use them effectively and also teach the kids how to limit them. I think that's my biggest takeaway with it, and my biggest sense of this is the fact that there is so much research out there showing us that these can be good um, if used correctly, and that we need to utilize them in a way where we negate a lot of the cons, the extended screen time, the safety, the security, and use the pros, the instant access to information, all the cool apps it has, and things like that. You can see I got my paper up here, and I used a lot of different. If I go down here to my reference page, um, I found a lot of different sites out there with pros and cons. I even found a few videos out there. Aesop Science, which some of you guys may already be using, was actually out there. That I used. A pretty interesting site and kind of went through how the phone is changing us. Was a lot more about the cons, but also some of my other links, pros and cons of allowing digital devices in the classroom, showed that these things can be good. Um, my two biggest takeaways, I think, are the fact that number one, Google Community is pretty darn cool to collaborate in. I Before this class, I'd never used Google Community or anything like that before. I've used Google Classroom quite a bit, but never Community. And I learned a lot more in this assignment about how we can break apart, create subtopics, create subcommunities, and use it for collaborative group setting. I've used other Google settings before, Google Classroom, um, and I like how they work. I kind of thought Community would be more of a, you know, college type setting, but I learned from this one that I could definitely use it in a middle school setting if set up properly, and could use it as groups to have the students collaboratively work together. So that was one thing I took away from it. The second thing I took away from it was my teammates or colleagues, or you want to call them in my community group, um, also did some research on uh, flexible seating and the environment and things like that. And I thought it was kind of neat. I took away a lot about how I can set up my classroom a little bit better if I'm going to use technology. If I'm going to use the smartphones, if I can allow my district to allow it, anything like that, I can also set up the environment so that it's a little bit better for technology based and smartphones, and set it up so that it's actually more user friendly, and how much that can actually play an impact on kids learning. So once again, I learned a lot from this assignment. I thought it was a neat assignment. I've never done collaborative group type of work before online, so in an online course. So I thought that was kind of neat, and I think it's something that I could, definitely change up a little bit. Use Google Communities and possibly make some type of assignment for my kids that would be similar and bring out some of the strengths of working online with other group members. So kind of neat, and I appreciate being able to do it.